GED Math Test Made Simple. Understand concepts and master skills with excellent examples. I am Anil Kumar. Welcome to my YouTube channel and the website Global Math Institute. We have a very special playlist now for general education development. We call it a series for students going back to school, learning basic mathematics, which could be a foundation stone for a much higher future. You can achieve your goals by having a strong foundation in mathematics. It is never too late to learn. So let's begin with topics one by one. On each topic, I'm going to take 10 related questions. In this video, we are going to discuss area and perimeter of a rectangle. The formula which will be used will be area is length into width and perimeter is twice length plus width. Right? So a rectangle, what is shown here, has length normally the longer side and width the shorter side. So based on this, you'll find the first statement to be same for all the 10 questions. That is, the dimensions of the rectangle shown below are L and width. We need to define a variable when we work on algebraic problems, and that is why I have kept this statement, right? The next statement really tells you what is to be done. If the length is 6 centimeters and the width is 4 centimeters, find the perimeter in centimeters, and you can apply the formula to begin with and mark the choice which is correct. So this is the basics. What we are doing is 10 questions means starting with basics, getting conversant with the terms area, perimeter, and then moving forward and writing algebraic equations with more complicated cases. So soon you will get into algebraic expressions, and then you will know how do we work with these algebraic expressions, correct? So you can see these types of questions where the emphasis is more on calculating the unknown value of the variable. That's where the algebra comes in, and then we have thinking questions like question 9 and 10 in every playlist questions, right? So that could be a difficult question for you. So you may, after learning, attempt this. Once you reach at this stage, then we'll have application problems based on the concepts learned, and we'll also have series on each and every topic, which you should know as basic mathematics, foundation stone for future. Well, in case you want to learn directly from me, you can always send an email on the address given. Now, let us begin answering these questions and understanding the concepts. You can always pause the video, answer the questions, and then check your solution. Perfect. So the very first question, as I was saying, is the dimensions of the rectangle shown below are length L and W width, right? If length is 6 centimeters, width is 4, find perimeter in centimeters. So we are given length as 6 and width as 4. It is a good practice to make a diagram, write down what is given. It becomes easy. We need to find the perimeter, P. So perimeter basically is the sum of all these sides. And we know length, both the lengths are equal. So equal lengths normally will show by something like this, right? And width we may show like this, correct? So it is sum of all these sides. The formula is there. It is twice length plus width. Length is 6. We can add 6 and 4 and multiply by 2, right? So 2 times 10, which gives us 20. So the option D is the correct option, providing 20 as the perimeter. So you understand how do we do it, correct? Let's move forward. So in this particular case, again we are given length and width. The length is 8 and the width is 4. So let's write down 8 for the length, 4 for the width. We need to find area this time. Area is product of length and width, and therefore we can write area equals to 8 times 4, right? So 8 times 4, I can also write a decimal in between, and then that really means multiplication. So 8 times 4, you know, is 32, and that gives you the option D also this time, correct? So that is how easy it is. Each question can be answered in less than a minute. in any test. Correct. Now, in this particular case, the dimensions are shown below are 6 and 3x. So, we have already given you the dimension 6 as the length and 3x as the width. Correct. Find area in square units. So, area is always measured in square units since it is product of the two things. So, we'll just multiply 6 with 3x, right? So, it is also customary to write it in brackets sometimes. It helps. 6 is the length, 3x is the width. When you multiply 6, the numbers get multiplied together and you're left with that variable x. So, 18x is the right option, which is option B. Makes sense, right? So, I hope so far no problem is there. Well, in case there is a problem, feel free to write your comments, or you can also send an email for my suggestions. Okay, now question number 4. In question number 4, we have the dimensions of the rectangle shown below are 5x and 3x. Find the area in square units, right? So we have to find the area, which basically is product of length and width. So area is equals to length times width, right? So let's multiply them. So we have 5x times 3x. Okay, so 5 times 3 is 15 and x times x is x squared. So that is critical to understand. So we have 15x squared as the correct answer. So make a note of this, that when you multiply x with x, you get x squared. Okay, let's move on, take the next question. We are already midway between, right? So the dimensions of this rectangle shown below are 5x and 3x. This time you need to find the perimeter. Now you can actually pause the video and answer the question. Perimeter means sum of all the sides. So what you can do is add 5x and 3x and then multiply by 2, right? So we have 8x and then you multiply by 2, and when you do that, you get 16x. So 16x is option C. That is how you can do it. Directly apply the formula and get your result. Is that clear to you? Right? Now question number 6 is the dimensions of the rectangle shown below are 3x and 2x. If the area is 54 units square, find the perimeter. So we are at the next level now. What we are given here is that area is given to us as 54. Area is product of length and width. So we know that 3x times 2x, which is the area, this is equal to 54. So we are able to form an equation. And now we have to simplify and answer this particular question. It is slightly tricky. So when you multiply 3 times 2, we get 6, and then we get x squared as equal to 54. Now x squared is equal to 54 divided by 6, which is equal to 9. So we have x squared as 9. You have to think about a number whose square is 9, or you can say, well, x is square root of 9, right? It has to be a positive number since the lengths and widths are always positive, and therefore you get the value of x as 3. Now that is not the solution, and 3 is not one of your choices. See what you need to figure out. It says find the perimeter, right? Find the perimeter means we have only found the x value. So that means 3 times x, this length is going to be 9, and this is 3 times 2, 6. Do you see that? So we have length equals to 9 and width equals to w. Since x is 3, does make sense to you? Now what is the perimeter, right? So perimeter will be twice sum of 9 and 6, which is equals to twice 15, and that is equal to 30, correct? So answer C is the right option. So that is what I said. We started with very basic questions, understood the concept of area and perimeter, and from there now we are building up and then making you aware of how beautifully this concept can be applied and how many questions can be solved. Perfect. You feel comfortable moving forward? Let's move on. So we have now question number 7. So the dimensions of the rectangle shown below are L and W. The length is twice the width. Find perimeter. So we are now relating length and width together. Length is twice the width. What does that mean? So that really means that we can write L equals to 2W, twice the width, right? Find the perimeter. We can now, since the options are given all in W, we'll add both of them and then multiply by 2. So perimeter will be twice length plus width, you know that. But we also know that length is twice width, right? So twice width, and therefore we can say 2 times 3w. So it is like 2 apples and 1 apple. So when you add apples, you get apples, right? So we have 2 apples, 1 apple gives you 3 apples multiplied by 2. That means 2 rows of these gives you 6w. So 6w is the right answer. Are you getting it? So we have now introduced you to pure algebra, where length and width will be variables and we'll play with them. Perfect. Next question here, question number 8 is, the dimensions of the rectangle shown below are L and W, right? The length is thrice the width, find the area. So this time we are given length is 3 times the width. Thrice means 3 times. We need to find the area, which is product of length and width, right? I wrote W first anyway. So area, it will be 3W times W or 3W square. You get the idea, right? So let me write length and width just to be absolutely clear. Better to write L first, longer side first. Okay, so 3W square is the answer, which is option A for us. Do you see that? So simple as that. Now get used to these wordings, right? We are saying length is thrice the width, right? So just write down length as 3 times width and then multiply and get your answer. Makes sense, right? Perfect. So now these are 2 slightly difficult questions for you. Here, the length L is 2 meters more than the width W. So length is 2 meters more than width means width plus W. 2 meters more than what? Width. So width plus 2. That is how we are going to write this. And that is how we are going to translate the expression length is 2 meters more than width, right? Length is 2 meters more than width. You get the idea, right? Okay. Find length of the rectangle if perimeter is 30 for you, right? So we are given this time perimeter, right? So perimeter is 30. What is perimeter? Perimeter is twice length and width, right? So twice length plus width is 30. So we can just divide by 2. To simplify, we say 15 is length plus width. Do you see that? What I did here was I divided both sides by 2, right? So that is what we call simplify your equation. So it is much simpler now. But it says length is 2 meters more than width, right? So length is 2 meters more than width. So we can write 15 equals to, instead of L, we can write W plus 2, right? So do you see that? So we get 15 is equals to 2W plus 2. And we can now take away 2 from 15 and we get twice width as 15 minus 2, which is equal to 13, right? So 13 is twice width, and that gives you the width, which is half of 13, correct? Half of 13 being 6.5. But see, 6.5 will be wrong. What do we need to find? Find length. So we have to find the length. Length is longer. Length is longer than the width by 2, and therefore the length has to be 8.5. Does it make sense to you? Right? So we know length is twice the width. So this gives you, we write like this. This means that length is 6.5 plus 2, which is equal to 8.5. Right? So we get length as 8.5 as our answer. Right? So that is what I say, slightly more complicated, but this is the type of question you are getting ready for. And after that, we'll take up examples, which are practical examples. For example, if you are fertilizing a lawn which is rectangular in shape, how much will it cost you, depending on the area and all. So we'll take that level of questions in the next set, which will be called as the application on our learnings. Perfect. Now here is the last question of understanding the basic concepts and relating length and perimeter for a rectangle. So question number 10 here is, length L is 2 meters more than 3 times the width. So first, try to relate this, right? Length is 2 meters more than 3 times the width. So length is 2 meters more than 3 times the width, like this. Do you see? 2 meters more than 3 times the width, right? Find the length of the rectangle if perimeter is 44. Okay, so that is the length. So we know perimeter is equals to 44. And this is twice length plus width. First step, half 44 will give you 22 is sum of length plus width. And we know 22 is what is length? 3w plus 2, right? 3w plus 2 plus w, correct? So take away 2 first, right? And 3 and 1 gives you 4w. So 20 equals to 4w, which is dividing by 4 will give you width of 5. So we know width of 5. So once you know width is 5, but we need to find the length, correct? Remember this. We need to find the length. So length will be what? 3 times 5 plus 2, correct? So 15 plus 2 being 17. Is that okay, right? So we get the answer B as the right option for the given question. Perfect. So with that, I hope you have understood how do we relate the area and perimeter of a rectangle and do some tricky questions, right? Now, as I said, we'll take the application parts and then we'll also take area and perimeter of triangles and circles. Perfect. Feel free to write a comment, share your views. In case you want to learn directly from me, you can always send an email on the address given. Looking forward for your suggestions. Thank you and all the best.